All right, let's hit the field.
It was a spring training matchup between the Yankees and the Twins. Gerrit Cole on the mound for the Yankees, but it was not pretty. Poor effort from the Yankees on all sides of the baseball. Plus, we got story time, we got updates on Giancarlo Stanton, and we got your voicemails coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Today is March 6th, and it certainly felt like it, the way the Yankees played, not anywhere close to season ready the way that they look today. This was one of those days where if you missed the game, I would like to congratulate you on having spent your afternoon in a better way, in a more productive way than I did. Absolutely brutal spring performance. The best news, though, is that it does not count. On a day that the wind was blowing out in Tampa, the ball was not flying for the Yankees, but it was for the Twins. Twins were absolutely raking. Yankees did not do much on offense at all, and unfortunately, we're taking home the L today. Not a big deal at all, but Gerrit Cole got rocked for 5 hits and 6 runs today, a couple of home runs. His ERA this spring shot up to 10.50. The only positives for Gerrit Cole were that he didn't walk anybody and the fastball touched out at 96. But that's like saying, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Just not a lot you can take from an outing like that. And you know that it's spring training when the Twins actually handle the Yankees pretty well, because the Yankees have been pretty much invincible against the Twins for the last couple of decades, really. Uninspired performance by the Yankees all around. Looked like they're just getting their work in. But look, when you don't take spring training seriously and you play sloppy baseball and you screw up, plays like the pitcher covering first base like we saw with Cruz today, those things come back to bite you during the regular season and in the postseason. We saw that in the World Series last year. Lineup was pretty close to what we're probably going to see for opening day. I don't know if we'll have Trent Grisham in center field on opening day. It's certainly a possibility. The Yankees could go with Aaron Judge as the DH since Giancarlo is going to be out. We'll have an update on Giancarlo in a few minutes. Austin Wells in the leadoff spot today. Didn't do much. I don't like him in the leadoff spot. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right. I'm not sure I can articulate why. It just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's because the Yankees have never had a catcher hit leadoff in a regular season game. I just don't think now's the time to start. Also, I've been told to remind you to download Pinstripe Territory on all your favorite podcast platforms so that you can get it on the go. All right, let's go ahead and review this game. Obviously, the big story, the big takeaway was Gerrit Cole getting absolutely clobbered, and I'll talk more about that in the next segment. There were a couple of positives today. Jay Ciascara made a major bid to take the backup catcher job, which I've already felt like he's the favorite. He had a 2-run single and a home run, drove in 3 of the 4 Yankees runs. Cody Bellinger continues to look good. He had a nice piece of hitting in the first inning. He also hit into a double play, but he worked the count today. And I swear every time I turn on the game, he does something positive and looks good. He made a couple of nice plays in center field. I think he's going to have a big year. Jason Dominguez, a little bit of positive, a little bit of negative. He made a nice running catch in the 3rd inning. It was a sharp line drive, and he used his speed. You really got to see him accelerate and close the gap in front of Trent Grisham to make a nice play. But then there was also an easy line drive, one hopper to left field, and he came up and tried to scoop it and make the throw without ever getting a handle on it. And so he bobbled it and booted it. I have been watching him more closely now that I'm more concerned about his defense. And I feel like he does have the habit of looking where he's going to throw instead of looking the ball into his glove, which is an easy problem to fix. It's fundamental number 1 in baseball. But a lot of times when, you grow up in an area where you're not really playing organized baseball and you're not getting organized coaching, a lot of times those fundamentals can take a backseat to your talent. So you might sign somebody because they're hitting 400-foot home runs as a 16-year-old, but you overlook the fact that, they haven't played a lot of outfield, which seems to be the case with Jason Dominguez. So I think his problems are fixable, and he has made some progress. Like I said, he did make one really nice play, but I continue to have my concerns that that's going to get you in a big spot. There was also a throw home that he kind of, it lollipopped. It was just not a good throw, and he was somebody that we always thought of having a good arm. But since TJ, he has not looked good on throwing the ball. So just, mild concerns there. Oswaldo Cabrera looked really good on offense today. A couple of line drive singles, taking the ball the other way from the left side. More and more people are starting to say that Waldo has the upper hand at the third base position. I still think that Peraza would be a better fit, but I've been saying it's going to be Peraza all spring, and he just hasn't hit.
I've never been so wrong in my whole life.
So not looking good for him right now. So let's talk a little bit about Gerrit Cole today. He got off to a very good start. 1-2-3 inning in the first. Fastball was 95, 96 miles an hour. He mixed in some changeups. He mixed in some cutters. Now, last year, he only threw the changeup 4% of the time, but he's definitely throwing it a lot more often than that in the spring. It's kind of like a straight change. It doesn't have the obvious tail and sink of somebody like Devin Williams, right? The airbender. That's why they call him that, because his pitch does funky stuff. But it does have good arm action. It looks just like a fastball to me. Second inning, though, not so good. 5 runs. Some of it was bad luck. A couple of soft contact, hits, but also served up a home run. They ended up bringing him out of the game, put him back in for the third inning, gave up another solo shot. But you could tell that he was working on stuff, but it seemed like just like every other pitch that the Yankees were throwing today was a home run. And I'm sure I'm going to be flooded with comments from the casuals. Gerrit Cole is not an ace. Gerrit Cole sucks. And I just want you to know that if you leave a comment like that, it's going to confirm that you're unfamiliar with spring training. These guys are working on stuff. He was pitching out of the stretch with nobody on, and he's not a guy who really needs to take spring training all that seriously. He's a guy who can work on stuff. He's an established pitcher. He knows he's a lock for the rotation, so he's working on pitches. He's working on location. He's working on getting his endurance up. And sometimes you just get got. And that's what happened today. Luke Weaver also pitched. Didn't have much better luck. Also served up a home run to Mike Ford. Fernando Cruz also gave up a dinger. It was like Oprah Day for Yankees pitchers. You get a home run. You get a home run. You get a home run. Just not a good day for the Yankees pitchers at all.
It's all right there in front of us.
So, on a day like this, I would typically give out the bum of the day, but since the whole team played like bums, I thought maybe we could do something different today. I thought maybe we could talk about the biggest blockbuster trade that I've ever heard of. And I'm not talking about A-Rod. I'm not talking about Giancarlo Stanton. I'm not even talking about Juan Soto. This is story time. During spring training in 1973, Yankees pitchers Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson switched lockers. Oh, sorry, no, not lockers. They traded families. They traded entire families. Wives, kids, even dogs. That is a blockbuster trade. Apparently they were best friends. They hung out all the time. And somehow, someone brings up this conversation. You know what we should do? We should switch entire families. How does that conversation go down? Which guy was like, trust me, bro, this is the move? I have some close friends. Some very close friends, but not that close. And how do you sit down with your wife and make that pitch that trade? I want to know the exact wording. I would pay money to hear this. Look, honey, I love you, but I love his wife slightly more.
No!
I always think about, what happens when we die? What if when we die we could go back and watch any moment from history as kind of like a fly on the wall? Forget, finding out what happened at Roswell with the aliens or who really shot JFK. This is the first shit I'm watching, this conversation. And was there an official handoff? Like, all right, tomorrow, 5 p.m., we switch families. What was Christmas like after that? they held separate press conferences to announce the swap, and they actually thought it would go over well. It made big news. It did not go over well because it's an absolute psychopath move. And I don't have any kids, but I do have a dog, and all I could think about was that poor dog. And what was the first dinner like? You know? What was the first dinner like when, you know, he goes over to have dinner with his former teammate and his former family? I'm having trouble hiding the screen here, but that had to be kind of awkward. That had to be kind of an awkward moment. So this apparently was announced in 1973, and it worked out well for Peterson. Him and his wife stayed together, but it fell apart pretty quickly for Kekich. Anyway, different strokes for different folks, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, that's what it is. We got Edwin NG says, now that is a trade. I'm not sure why I can't close my screen. It's frozen a little bit. This is why I'm getting a new computer here. I'm getting that spinning beach ball that you've gotten if you're an Apple user. So we'll just talk for a minute about, you know, this oddity. I have never seen anything like this in my life. But anyway, okay, we are officially frozen here on the YouTube stream. So I'm going to try and do something a little different here. And see if we can close this out manually. There we go. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Giancarlo Stanton. Another story that we got to talk about here. He had 2 more PRP injections in his elbows. And Cashman said that he's going to be headed back to camp soon and that they called surgery a last resort. But let's go ahead and predict the future. Here's my Nostradamus prediction. He is going to get the surgery. I'm convinced that's how this is going to go. They're going to have multiple injections. They're going to do rehab. It's going to be about June. We're going to need a right-handed bat. He's going to be getting ready to come back. And we're going to hear he's still feeling something in those elbows. And then they're going to have the surgery and he's going to miss the whole season. That is my prediction right now. I also found Cashman's comments to be a bit odd. One of the writers off camera during his press conference asked him, why didn't Giancarlo have these injections during the offseason? And he said, well, the injury didn't crop up until 3 weeks before camp, which is BS. And we know it's BS because about 2 minutes later, he said that it was hurting during last season. So you're telling me that it was hurting last season and then magically it felt better as soon as the season was over and did nothing about it. Come on. Something up here is something's up with this. So I want to know the true story behind what's going on with Giancarlo Stanton. He's also been gone for a while. So there's some sketchy stuff going on with Giancarlo Stanton right here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look around the league real quick. Gunnar Henderson and Christian Walker are both hurt. Henderson has an intercostal strain for the Orioles. Now, he might not miss a lot of time. He's very young, but he is a crucial player for them. If he has to miss any kind of time at all, that's going to hurt them during the regular season. He's their best player by a mile. Christian Walker, someone the Yankees were linked to this winter before they signed Paul Goldschmidt, out with an oblique strain. And this is interesting because he had the same oblique strain last year, so it's still lingering. It's still not healed, which means they're going to take it slow with him. They're going to shut him down. He might not be ready to start the season. So a couple of the Yankees' rivals having some injury issues. Roki Sasaki, I watched him pitch the other night. Legit, I mean, I hate to say it. As a baseball fan, it was fun. He's got some of the best stuff I've ever seen. So you hope that he comes in and, you know, gets ripped just as a Yankees fan, just for that little Schadenfreude or however you say it. Schadenfreude. I don't know how to say it. Where you wish unfortune on someone else. That's kind of what I was doing. I want some bad luck for the Dodgers because of what they did this winter and all the money they've deferred and the fact that they talk so much crap after they beat us in the World Series. But they look loaded. and Roki Sasaki looked like the real deal. But can you really blame me for wanting something to go wrong with this team? I mean, just the way they've acted, the way they've talked shit all winter, it bothered me. It bothered me. All right, let's go ahead and take some voicemails here.
What do you hear? What do you say?
First one is from Chain.
Derek, Chain, say I agree with you wholeheartedly that if Dominguez is going to be in the outfield, he needs to be in center field and surrounded by two people that kind of know how to play it, and unless he can figure out his defensive problems, which he's probably, he'll probably be able to do it maybe. But I was wondering, I'm the last person in the world to use this analogy, so finally everybody's used it. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expect different results. For years, that's what the Yanks have done with first base. Get some guy that's on his way out and hope that he has a couple of good years for you. And anyway, I just wonder, what do you think about moving Dominguez to first base?
We have a first baseman.
Give me your thoughts. Thanks for your program. It's the best.
Appreciate it. Well, we have a first baseman. Paul Goldschmidt's our first baseman. I just don't see that being an option. Dominguez is going to have to learn how to play the outfield. I mean, he's a kid. He's 22. He's not done developing. He can get better. A lot of guys stunk defensively and then got better, with reps. You do anything 162 days in a row or 162 times in 180 days, you're going to get better. He's just got to get proper coaching. I thought it was encouraging that he was out there working with Bernie Williams, who is probably the smoothest center fielder I've seen for the Yankees in my lifetime. There have been better ones that I've seen around the league, but as far as the Yankees go, I mean, it just doesn't get smoother than Bernie out there. He would just glide to the baseball. And he got great jumps. He would run things down with his speed. He was a great sprinter in Puerto Rico. So, hopefully he can give Dominguez some tips that actually help him out.
Hey, Derek, this is AJ all the way from Fort Worth, Texas. Huge Yankee fan. And I was thinking, why not let Will Warren be our fifth starter? He's shown enough potential and a similarity to Michael King. Why not give him a head start in the majors? We saw him last year. He struggled a little bit, but I think this kid really has potential. And who cares about Stroman? DFA Stroman. We do not care about him. I think we give Will Warren a shot this year. Let me know your opinion.
They're not going to DFA Stroman because then you got to pay $18 million for him not to pitch for you or to pitch for somebody else. They're not going to do it. Will Warren, another one of those things, like, as much as we can't read too much into guys who struggle in spring, we can't read too much into guys who play great in spring either. Everybody's just kind of getting up to speed, and people get up to speed at different paces. Warren did look good. The two times I've seen him pitch, I think he has a 1.13 ERA this spring and has showed pretty good stuff. He's definitely got that Mike King kind of delivery and some sink, and he hides the ball well, but he got clobbered last year in the major leagues. So until he does it against major league hitters in the season, I'm not too excited. I want to see him do it against real competition when it counts.
Right on, D. Good post-game recap. Just wanted to comment on the current state of the Yankees. I know it's spring training, but really, we need to give Lombard a chance. I know he's listed as a shortstop, but, I mean, it doesn't seem like Peraza wants to be a part of the Yankees. And also, I think we've pretty much figured out the infield. Jazz fits in where he needs to be. Volpe is obviously where he needs to be. First base, we have some options there. The outfield.
I'm going to stop you right there because I feel like this is an uninformed call. I appreciate it. He's never taken an at-bat above A ball, so Lombard's not ready. He's not ready. We don't have options at first base. Paul Goldschmidt's our first baseman. Volpe's our shortstop. Jazz is our second baseman. Right now, there's a competition for third base, and it's between Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza, and Yorbit Vivas. And I don't get where you say that Peraza doesn't want to be a part of the Yankees. All I've heard is him say that he is a Yankees fan, that it's his dream to play for the Yankees. He seems to be pressing every time he gets a shot because he wants to do so well. So I'm going to go ahead and give that
wrong.
Just about outside.
Just a bit outside.
Yankees did kind of screw Peraza's career up, I think, just the way they've treated him. But tough day for the Yankees. Sorry we had a little bit of internet freeze there during the story time segment. If I'm going to go back and rewatch it, see how much we missed, and if we need to redo it at some point, I'll touch back on it. But thanks for watching. We're going to have a show tomorrow night with Terrence Kemp after the game. Tune in for that, and we'll see you next time. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.